With a yo-ho-ho, it's Tale of the Toaster. Welcome to a little bonus video to go at the end of the Inazuma 11 Go Light series. You may remember when I Let's Played Inazuma 11 3 Team Ogre Attacks, I did something called a thumbnail review, which a couple of people liked. I didn't really expect anyone to care, to be honest. I just kind of did it on a whim because I'd spent so much time making thumbnails that nobody really got to see up close. They were just used as thumbnails, and I kind of wanted to go into them and the stories that they tell, because some of them had some quite unique things to say about them. And much as it's a bit egotistical to do it all again, I am going to do a quick thumbnail recap for Inazuma 11 Go Light, just to bridge the gap between that series and the next. Before we get started, of course, I'm sure you're very eager to know when is the next game, that being Inazuma 11 Go Chrono Stones, Thunderflash coming out, and I'm happy to say that I'm getting some good progress in there with it. I've recorded several episodes, I've edited several episodes, they've even got thumbnails of course, and like the layouts are coming along really well. All I've got to do is just get a reasonable backlog so that I'm confident enough to say once I release episode 1, I can release an episode every 3 or 4 days. That's the goal. I'm not there yet. I want to wait at least a couple more weeks before we start releasing anything from that series, but I want to keep things consistent for you, and I hope you're looking forward to it. It's not too far away. But right now we're on Inazuma 11 Go Light, and of course we start with part 1. Part 1's thumbnail is just of the utmost importance because it's at the end card of every single episode, because it's the start of the playlist. And this is the first series I've ever used an end card on. I can't believe it took me until the year 2018 to finally get an end card, but I really needed to start using it, and finally I have. And I was happy that I was able to make this thumbnail, make it look nice and simple with the two main characters, using entirely assets from in-game cutscenes. And we found that nice high quality Aryan cutscene from a trailer as well, so I think it looks nice. And then we get to part 2 where Victor's just starting to look a little meaner. Yeah, we got to set the pace. Okay, this is the point of the game where Victor's just kind of excessively evil. I'm really not too big on the start of Inazuma 11 Go, where Victor's just the baddest of the bad you've ever seen, and that just makes it all the harder to accept him as a good guy in future chapters and future games, when he still has this exact same ultra evil appearance. But right now, when we're in part 2, he's fine to look evil, so that was a nice little job to do. And then part 3, there's actually 2 part 3 thumbnails. You may not have even seen this one before. This is one I actually made much later after releasing the video, because I finally found a good picture of the Order of the Black Templars in the game, and I was just quite unhappy with the actual thumbnail I used when I released the video, which was this. I just thought it would be funny, because the things that Victor's face does in that cutscene is just so weird. His eyes start seeping poison, he turns into a living hypno disc, and then I've even cropped out Lancelot and edited that on manually. That's not like an actual transitioning cutscene. I did that on purpose, but you'd need me to tell you that for you to know. It's not obvious. I wasn't happy with it, so I scrapped it. And then part 4, finally I have an episode where there's no cutscenes to pull from, so we just had to use a CG moment of an important scene and slap old Jean-Pierre Lapin on there, because it is his debut, and he is very happy to appear for Tale of the Toaster's audience, who largely ate him. Ate meaning hate in a French accent. He's never been the most popular character, has he? But he tries his best. And part 5, this upset me because I wanted to go as many episodes into the series as possible without borrowing from the anime, and I only got to part 5, but there is no good artwork of Coach Travis out there, or at least so I thought. I finally found some game artwork of him now. I don't think it could fill the size of this screen but even still, I just really wanted to find Coach Travis anywhere in an in-game cutscene or just his game model, but no, I went with the anime and the rule was broken, and that opened the floodgates from there. Not so much in part 6. I was able to make this one using entirely in-game cutscenes. I nearly left it as just Sky on her own, but I figured, well, let's not. We might as well go to the effort. It's quite bright, but that is the genuine background from the cutscenes. You can't argue with it. And part 7, this is one of the more story-ish ones, because I made this thumbnail like within a week of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being announced. So the big snake comeback was still on my mind. That was still brand new artwork at the time. Very little of importance happened in this episode, and I really wanted to shoehorn Lars and Dijkstra into a thumbnail somehow, and this was the best opportunity to do so. And it meant pulling from the anime again just a little bit, but it's only a tiny bit, not too noticeable. But yeah, just had to run with a joke there. Part 8, we got Steve in a thumbnail. Again, he's anime. I wish he didn't have to be, but we've got Higgins and Dodge in there. Won't be seeing much of Dodge in the series either. But 3 out of 10 Inazuma 11 Go Light logos poking off the bottom of the screen, and I don't like it anymore. So part 9, we get to the first important match, and I said it in the episode, but this background really just reminds me of Danganronpa and Hope's Peak Academy, and that is a good thing. But yeah, we cropped the captain of Prodigy Grammar out of an anime episode. His hair didn't actually fit on the screen when I took the screenshot, so I just had to kind of hide it behind the school and hope nobody had noticed. But then, of course, you know me, I spill my guts and I tell you anyway. In part 10, this was one of the ones which actually got comments about the thumbnail on the episode. This got a positive reception, and yeah, I was really happy to have made this one. I was kind of thinking, oh, the title's the new coach, and Mark doesn't actually appear in it until halfway through. Do I spoil that he's the coach? But yeah, he's on the box art of the game, and let's be honest, I don't think there's many people watching my Inazuma 11 videos who haven't already played the games or the anime. I try to make my videos spoiler-free, but I'm sure over 90% of the audience already know what's happening. So yeah, let's stick Mark in there and have some fun with it. And then, of course, my signature, the part 11. I always loved to make these. It was great in Inazuma 11 1 and 2 because it was always just an inconsequential episode where I can go full on with the joke. And then I ruined it with Inazuma 11 3 because part 11 was an important match against the big waves and I had to make a thumbnail about them, but still shoehorn the joke on there somehow, and that's one of the least satisfying thumbnails I've ever made. But here, this was a nice inconsequential episode. That thing in the background was a genuine screenshot from the episode. Just stick the logo on it and stick the word part on top of that. Just needed to put more outline on it. Oh. Well, this isn't very nice to look at. But, you know, when I have a cutscene that's in the episode and there's a high quality version in the trailer, just have to use it, right? That is a high quality Ricardo, even if he's a bit sad. Sorry, mate. In part 13, we didn't have high quality artwork for this at all. This is the episode where Arian learns Easy Breezy, and I figured that's momentous enough to make it a thumbnail, especially when Arian's pose is kind of dynamic enough for it. Part 14, so we get to these guys. But this was when I started properly making a signature style for the match thumbnails. Just an in-game screenshot of the venue and then an anime cutout of an important member for the striker. And that kept up for most of the series. So I was happy with that one. A good crop of Kirk on board, and it made the match look better than it deserved to be. Oh, this isn't a good one. Oh dear, TaleOfTheToaster, what are you playing at? This screenshot isn't even from part 15. It comes from a later episode. The episode is about Victor and Vladimir, but there's even an actual anime cutscene. And yeah, it doesn't have much in it because it's all shooting the characters from behind. It's mostly Victor looking out the window and such. I couldn't really get anything to work. This one was used to send an agenda home because although I love Inazuma 11, I also really love LBX, known in Japan as Danball Senki, and this room where you meet William Glass has an Achilles LBX on the table. It's not very noticed, it's just a tiny little Easter egg. But if I have the opportunity to put a relevant Achilles on the thumbnail, I'm doing it. If you haven't played Little Battlers Experience, it's a really cheap 3DS game. Go and get it. It's even got Inazuma 11 cameos in there. And has a crossover movie with Inazuma 11. It's perfect. To part 17, this was just one of those walk to the stadium episodes, but it was a chance to use some nice artwork that wouldn't otherwise get much spotlight. Mystifying Mist on Gabby, and that's his only appearance in a thumbnail for the entire series, I think. So part 18 is the actual team that I have a problem with, not bloody Milky Way, the poor guys. This is the thumbnail I ended up using on the video, but I have an alternative as well, and that's this one. So this is a thumbnail I made that's kind of in line with the usual style, an anime crop of the striker on the in-game pitch. And I couldn't decide between these two. One was purely game assets, the other was consistency. So I just asked several people on Discord, and I asked about 4 or 5 different people, and they all said this one that I actually used. By the time I'd finished asking everyone, I kind of disagreed, and I kind of wanted to use this one, but I couldn't ignore 4 opinions at once, so that's the one we went with. So let me know in the comments, did I make the right call? Is that the better thumbnail, or was this the better thumbnail? Either way, they're both in the public now. And part 19, well, I had to try and shade Jude out because it counts as a spoiler. He hadn't actually appeared in the series at this point, but I still tried to make the goggles less dark than the rest of his actual face so they kind of reflect in the dark. I wasn't really keeping a secret from anyone, was I? Let's be fair. It's obviously Jude, but hey, it's a Royal Academy thumbnail. You do what you do. And then Jude is back again. And, I mean, this thumbnail frustrates me to look at, but it's not my fault. It's the game's fault for having Jude look like this. Why did he have to wear goggles in the Go series as a grown man? It continues to annoy me all the time. I don't mind him having goggles in the original trilogy as a kid, but as an adult he shouldn't be wearing those things. Instead he's wearing worse goggles that look even more horrifying. But that's an in-game cutscene, I had to use it. Now part 21 is similar to the easy breezy stuff. This is where JP learns Jumping Jack. The very early days of the LP where learning a special move is still an important part of the story. And then part 22. Now I got a lot of flack for this one. Here's me thinking, oh, they won't notice it's from Go Galaxy. It's got all of the, the actual members of Royal Academy in there. It's even got the captain in the centre who is not on the team after halfway through the Go story. They think, oh, if it's got him in there, people believe it's from Go 1, right? Right? No, people recognise Jude's cape from Go Galaxy, and this was a mistake. Why would I ever underestimate my audience? Some of the biggest Inazuma 11 nerds in the world watch my videos. Of course it was going to get picked up on, and yeah, I'm taking assets from not only the anime, but also the wrong anime here, so, whoops. Part 23, I had to get a hue and shun in a thumbnail somehow, and this was my only chance to do so, because this is the episode where you get them, and yep, I did. Had to crop them out of the anime just to stick them on a car park. Part 24, so we get into Mrs. Evans. So this is one of the few light exclusive thumbnails. Whereas if we were playing Shadow at this point, Arian's meal would satisfy him a lot. I mean, I think that particular screenshot would look the same either way, but he didn't really enjoy his food in my Let's Play, whereas in the Shadow exclusives, he has a ball with it. Because Cam does the cooking. I don't know how this episode ended up being 25 minutes though. What did I do to make it that long? Man, this is when I start getting experimental. Oh heck. Did it work? Did it not? I still haven't decided, but this is what I went for the Millie Moonlight thumbnail extra competition route. Because I'd barely made any progress in the route, I was going to have a lot of gaps in that thumbnail, So I thought, rather than just fill the whole thing with question marks, let's fill the gaps with the logo. I don't have anywhere else to put it. And it was one of the more art gallery-ish thumbnails. Did it pay off? I don't know. And then part 26. So yeah, at this point I've given in on trying to use game assets. This is a fully anime thumbnail. But it does look good, I think. There's a nice little Davy Jones pose, and I've even filled a little bit more space, which I didn't even have to by cropping one of the defenders in, but just felt like going to the effort because it felt like it was coming together really good. But I still feel a bit weird about Pirates Cove being the final boss of the regionals anyway. They really should have gone for a more serious looking team to be the everyone's a spirit summoner, this is the final to get into the nationals. Pirates Cove would have just made a lot more sense somewhere else. I don't really understand why it's at that point in the game. Part 27, yes, we get to go back to making thumbnails with purely game assets. We get Aitor having a Victor style, I'm so evil, the weather's gonna turn dark, I've got shading on my forehead, I'm probably a seed, and then it lasts a couple episodes and then he's fine. But it's just like Victor, he has one of those cutscenes where he's the most evil man in the world and then he turns out to be fine. But for that episode, he was a bad guy, so we portray him as such. And part 28, this one was a bit misleading. Only about a minute and a half of this episode was actually about Bylong and Victor, but this was a Let's Play of Inazuma 11 Go Light and not Go Shadow. The Go Shadow content was all on its own, so if I'm going to have Bylong appearing throughout the series, I want to bring that to people's attention, and not a great deal else happened in this episode anyway, so I hope you don't feel too cheesed off with that one. And then part 29, the Royal Academy rematch. So this is the kind of thing that I should have been making in the first place instead of nicking assets from Go Galaxy. I could have had one with the blue-haired chappie for the main match, and then this guy for the rematch. This one was a lot better, and I wish I did that in the first place, but there you go. And part 30, I got a couple of comments saying comments about Axel's salute, they like to call it, and I swear I took this from an in-game cutscene, but blown up. The quality does not look great. I think it looks fine at thumbnail size, but yeah, you were never meant to see it this large. Part 31, see, it's only the second appearance of Dodge in the entire series, and that's a proper member of your team. It's not normal I have the team logo right at the forefront and centre and such, but it's Dodge in the stadium, and this is when the game really starts getting good. Like the regionals are just alright, but then when you get to the nationals, that's when I truly start enjoying Inazuma 11 Go Light, and it comes into its own. It's a late bloomer, this game, much unlike pretty much every other Inazuma 11 game, which I'm enjoying from the off. Chrono Stones has a very slow start, but I enjoy the slow start. I find it amusing. Go Light's slow start is just a slow start. But hey-ho, halfway through the series at this point. And part 32, hey up lads, it's Sean Frost. Even in the thumbnail recap, I still get to make an appearance. How do, Mark? Oh, you're looking alright in this thumbnail as it goes, Sean. Oh, cheers, Mark. I've been looking forward to my series debut all day. And then that's me protege, Njord Snow. He's doing me move, Eternal Blizzard. I think it looks alright, don't you? Well, they might disagree. This is, of course, the cutscene where you're meeting Roma. But I didn't want to actually have Roma in the thumbnail because this cutscene comes right at the end of the episode and Roma's barely in it. So I feel that kind of falls into the spoilery, maybe even the clickbaity side of things. I don't think it's that far. But yeah, I wanted to keep Roma out of it, but still make use of the one in-game cutscene that was offered to me. And then it's Njord Snow again. Hey up, did you miss me? Now I'm actually looking all mad and stuff, because you've got to play against me. The background is from game and it's cutscene, but I'm from anime. But I think it clashes alright together, doesn't it? You can see it all pitched. And I'm looking alright because I'm the best design in the entire Inazuma 11 Go game. I'm just going to go back to my normal voice for that one because I'm dead serious. I love Njord's design, and that's my one regret in not being able to use H2 Shoes' team a little more, because it had this guy on it. I really like Njord Snow, and I want him in every Inazuma 11 game, but sorry lad, you got a bit left in dust because Ace made that team a bit too high levelled. Hey up, now rumours appearing in a thumbnail, and it's mostly about Kevin for the fact. Is Rumour even going to get a forward-facing thumbnail in this entire series, come to think of it? I don't think he is. No, he doesn't, but he's in this, kinda. And 37. There's ups and downs to this. I really wanted to highlight the fact that that important chest is in such a conspicuous and hard to find location, and you know, I kind of suspected people who were looking for that chest might find this video in isolation, so I wanted to make that the focus of the thumbnail, have a few clickbaity arrow jokes in there as well, but also the main focus of it was Ivy Selective, and yeah, you don't really have any good artwork for them. You're blowing up a sprite and that's it. I think the worst thing about it is we've just finished the Alpine chapter, but now we've got another ice background again. It's like we've returned to the chapter. That's the only thing I don't like about it, but otherwise, decent laugh. And 38, I was surprised as well. I mean, I only got one of these comments, but somebody left me a comment on part 38 saying this was one of the best thumbnails of the series. They really like it. And I'm like, oh, cheers. I didn't think it were anything special. It's just game artwork of Aphrodite on the route to Stadium. It didn't take me that much work, but it's one of the few thumbnails to get direct praise, so whoever said that, cheers, I appreciated it. And then 39, so it's back to anime men over in-game cutscene of Stadium, and I had a lot of space to work with, so we managed to get 2 people on this time, both of the Langfords and their team logo and the game logo and the 39. Happy enough with that one. The only weird thing is, I don't think the younger Langford's face normally looks like that, but it was the best image I could find. 40, that's another one you're not meant to see blown up to this kind of size. That's one of those images which appears on the bottom screen in the lowest resolution possible. Oh, the Nintendo 3DS. It'll be a lot easier to make thumbnails for Inazuma 11 Aries if we ever get that game. It's just an HD game, easy peasy. But yeah, we've got Wanley and his childhood friends in there. Had to be. And you're right, it's Soul Day, sir. Oh, I'm glad that I'm let's playing Chrono Stone's Thunderflash instead of Wildfire, so I don't have to do this accent too much, because I'll mess it up. I know I will. That's probably the best Soul Day Star accent I've ever done, to be honest. Pick him out of a cutscene, shove him on, job done. And then we get Wanley again, and now his grown-up version of Faith instead. You can just about see the route to Stadium and the Christmas trees on there. I never quite found out if the Christmas trees were just there because I was recording the episode around Christmas, or if it was just always meant to be there. But by all means, if anyone knows, do tell me. And then you weren't in the last thumbnail. We got Faith and Wanley in there, so now we've got Ariudini over here, over his Stadium. What more could you expect? Hello, Axel Blaze. You're not in too high quality in that cutscene. That was not uploaded to a trailer, but I still like it. It's like nice and black and well lit in the centre. It's one of those striking thumbnails, or at least it would be if I had access to the HD cutscenes. Hey, Inazuma 11 devs, do you want to just give me all the cutscenes in the game, please? Can I just have them? Then I'd have to remake every single episode of every series just to plant the HD cutscenes in there. You know. And then Axel makes an appearance again with Seymour Hillman. I was stumped for this episode. It took me ages just to come up with an idea for a thumbnail, eventually settling on Mr. Hillman hasn't been in a thumbnail yet. He's going to be. And yeah, still don't think there's much else I could have done. And then, hello, you're from the Revolutionaries. I mean, he's actually from Lunar Sea, but this was the Revolutionaries episode, and there's not exactly artwork of them out there. They're a game exclusive team, except as it turns out there was artwork of the Revolutionaries all along. We'll get to that further in this video. And it catches me off guard every time, this one. Like, you know, Inazuma 11 1 thumbnails aced all the jokes for me. Inazuma 11 2, I tried quite a lot of jokey thumbnails myself with out of place material. Then I just kind of got my act together for Inazuma 11 3 and Go Light, and then mostly uniform using assets from the game. And then this one I just chuck in the bloody Sandy Blarg from Super Mario Galaxy 2. But there was only one cutscene in the episode, and almost all of the frames had Sol Daystar in it, and I didn't want to spoil that Sol Daystar was the captain of the team. So I just took this one that didn't have Sol in it. Aaron just looking into the distance of the stadium. Oh, what else can he be looking at? I know, the sand monster from Super Mario Galaxy 2. Sure. And then Sol Daystar, now it's okay to reveal that he's the team captain. Your quality's not looking too good there, mate, because I actually tried to not use the anime for once and pulled him out of the in-game cutscene from the previous episode, in fact. But I don't know if that paid off. I do prefer to use game assets when I can, but sometimes it's maybe not worth it. He looks like he needed a remove.bg job. I can still see the sky around his hair. If you've never used remove.bg, try it now. It is one of the best websites ever made. I've never used it towards a thumbnail before because it's only recently been properly developed. It's only been launched a few months ago, and then only recently been able to crop certain things a few weeks ago. But it will perfectly crop you out of a photo and remove the background, and now I can even use it for things that aren't people. Link in the description. Not a sponsored comment. Try it though, it's amazing. Hello Mark Evans, you got in a cutscene, so you get to be in high definition. Again, it kind of spoils that Mark Evans comes back when he doesn't do so until halfway through the episode, but I couldn't say no to a cutscene which was in the trailer. I wish I had the same kind of thing for part 50. I had very little to pick from. It just makes me so sad that Xavier and Jordan, I bought Inazuma 11 Go Light for these guys, and Bylong as well I came to love later on, but I mainly bought the game for these guys. I like them more than Nathan and Jack. But they have this scene in both versions of the game anyway, and they barely have any scenes otherwise. They've got one with Arian, one with Aitor, and that's about it, whereas Nathan and Jack get loads. I admit at this point, Go Shadow is a better game than Go Light. Tezcat scenes are better written. You get more content out of Nathan and Jack than you do from Xavier and Jordan, and it's more relevant. My personal preference still lies with Light, but yeah, I've got to admit, Light kinda gets the jip in hindsight, unless you're a really dedicated Bylong and Jordan fan like I am. Part 51, it's young Aaron. Part 52, hello Mount Olympus and Axel Blaze to join them. So I did feel a little bit cheeky that I had to chop Mount Olympus and Dragon Link into two separate videos, but I think it worked in the end. It was better off than just having an hour-long video, and there's a nice cutscene to go with it, so fair enough. And then the finale. So when I first released this one, it didn't look quite as clean. Obviously I've cropped Quentin Cinquedea out of a cutscene, and in the cutscene it's raining. You can see a drop of rain just below his thumbnail. His thumb, that's the end of the word. But yeah, when I first released this thumbnail on the live video, I made a pretty big mistake, and there was a full raindrop smearing down his face. I don't know how I didn't notice, but it looked like he was crying, and somehow I released it in that form, and I've had to fix it since. But nevertheless, I do otherwise like this. We've got both of the Cinquedeas in there, and just visible in the background, the rest of the team. And it's all game assets, just how I like it. And then part 54. This is the only artwork that exists of the Revolutionaries. And even then, it's only got Dodge and the Lunacy goalkeeper Alessandro Il Grande in there. But it is genuinely from the episode, and with the power of hindsight, I probably would have used this at that point in time. And Have I seriously just got an email from remove.bg in the middle of this video? Hey guys, I just finished sponsoring you in this video. That is a coincidence to end it all. But yeah, I mean, obviously part 54 I was mainly detailing the post-game plans, and I did take on the revolutionaries in the extra competition route, so I'm glad I got the chance to show it off. But yeah, that would have made more sense in the actual episode where this JP fighting spirit gets summoned and whatnot. And then we get to the multiplayer, level 73. Ace, I asked you for a team that was around level 60. How did you go overboard that far? I get that pal packing is a nightmare and he really wanted some specific team members and he just had to keep grinding away to get them, and so the team did end up over-leveled, but I admit I was disappointed that I didn't get to use the team for as much post-game as I thought, but I hope you'll agree, steamrolling through the post-game with a level 73 team, although it might have been entertaining, it wouldn't be very useful as a guide, and at the end of the day this is a let's play and I want to genuinely help people who might be struggling with the game, so I had to use my lower level team. And then those ended up plastering the post-game teams anyway. But let's actually get to those post-game teams. After the trade, he really wanted to send me like a level 99 player and didn't have the FP for it, the poor guy. This one's just randomly good. I got to shove Nord Snow in there again and young Celia, because she did use Emperor Penguin in the battle, so here she is. I like this one. I went to way too much effort for one of the least important episodes of the series. People enjoyed it though. I'm glad people like the dynamic with me and Ace Two Shoes. And don't forget, not only is he making assets for my Chrono Stones Let's Play, he is also making his own videos on his newly launched channel called The Flood. So I'm going to have to remember another link in the description there. But be sure to subscribe to him. The last video he released was a Pokemon Sapphire Nuzlocke. I think he might have finished it by now, but just check it out. Tell him to do Inazuma 11. Or don't, because then I'll lose all my subscribers. This was an episode, apparently, that just... Yeah, I had no plan of making it, but I was just doing extra competition routes for fun, and then I'm like, I'm about to get the gold key. And then, my team is now level 60, and they could take on Eternal Light quite comfortably. I didn't need to ask Ace to do anything. And I just made this 5-minute video, and still made use of Ace's team because it was fun for the multiplayer and for the one-off solo video I used it in. But, fun fact, that beam in the middle is Palutena's up smash from Smash 4. You can't unsee that now. Then we get Ultimate Tournament, so a bit less artsy than the Millie Moonlight one. A more normal one, which I think paid off. And then, look at this, Southern Claw and Northern Fang. I tried to make these as uniform as possible. It's great that we have high quality artwork of these players, much unlike Ivy Selective. Just a shame that for the Northern Fang video I had the Inazuma 11 Go Light on logo on all the assets instead of swapping it for Go Shadow. And then I made that fix for this video here, Ancient Darkness, and then I uploaded the wrong one. Like, so this video has the Inazuma 11 Go Light logo on all the assets as well. I fixed it and I uploaded the wrong video. So now it has the Go Light logo all over it anyway, which is bitterly disappointing. But it's not such a problem for this one. Again, I tried to make these as uniform as possible and I'm happy with that. We got the cover artwork of these two as well as their fighting spirits. And then their combined spirit, Arthur, in the Zero match. So, I did a weird thing with this fighting spirit. Because Bylong has a white outline and Tezcat has a black outline, which I did on purpose, that's not from the game, I wanted their fighting spirit Arthur to have both. And so he does. He's got a black outline and then a white outline. But I wanted it to be noticeable that it was an outline, but now that I see it, it just looks like that's actually part of the spirit. I could believe the real thing having such a thick black outline, especially because it's the in-game model and then the white surrounding. It just makes sense because it's Bylong and Tezcat's spirit. It doesn't actually look like that, so maybe that was a bit of a mistake, but at the same time, I can't imagine it having no outline whatsoever. And then there was that one. Not happy with this, but there was only one exclusive anime cutscene in the game, so I just decided to use it. I'd make that one again, to be honest. But that's it. That's all the thumbnails for Inazuma 11 Go Light. So I hope you're looking forward to the Chrono Stones Let's Play, and why not give you a little tease. Let's give you a look at a layout for Chrono Stones, and then we will truly call it there. So this is just one example of what a layout is going to look like in Chrono Stones. We've got Arian and Faye. Again, this is made by Ace2Shoes, stroke Tom Spoors, stroke The Flood. Big credit to him, and I'm really happy with the job that he did. Apart from this one, where he accidentally put the Inazuma 11 Aries and Orion Ryman Junior High in the background. That's not correct, but we got that fixed, so now it's using the correct school. We've got that's the overworld layout, and that's the battle layout. It's two different sizes for different purposes. I am really excited to start releasing those videos, and I hope you're excited to see them. TTFN!